Hey folks, this is Brian. I'm back. Okay, so the last session review I did for Elderath was 76, which was a catch up because I missed doing that a couple weeks ago. So now we continue with session 47. Okay, we get back to camp. And there was some discussion. In fact, there's live play in the description, and I think I started it, but then we started talking about check marks and all that kind of stuff. So I cut that part out and I tried to bring it back in when we start actually rolling. And there's some stuff I probably missed though. So anyway, there's some discussion up front about okay, one of the reasons we're out doing this stuff is to gain experience, right? And the way we do check marks is we allow a check up to 3 check marks per skill, one for regular success, a second for a special success, and a third for critical success. And obviously, you can take those in any order, right? Um, Previously, I had understood that you get a check mark for regular success, and then you get additional check marks for any subsequent critical successes. So you could get a number of check marks if you happen to make a number of critical successes. But that's not the way we're doing it now. We're all on the same page. You can get up to 3, right? But we're out here to try to get experience, and if we just get 3 check marks and skills, and then we have to decide to go all the way back to Kars, which is a week or so, just to get there, and that it seemed that maybe what we could do is establish a rule for contemplation, right? A week's worth of contemplation, rest in a safe place gives you the opportunity to make your check mark rolls. So as we decided, and we decided that the base camp, as long as it doesn't come under attack, is considered a safe space for us to do our contemplation. So that's what we do. We head back to camp, we make our check marks, and we kind of check out some of the stuff again. There's the 4 swords, the staff, the amulet, 8 rings, 5 from the shaman, and 3 from the hero goblin. Um, and then there was the goblin chain hauberk and the goblin breastplate. So we're kind of check this stuff out, messing with it, that kind of thing. Um, in the process of this, Alexander decides he's going to take one of the ancient swords with him. So that while we're out adventuring and it turns out that whatever we're attacking, like a Drugar, is not taking damage from our weapons because they're not magical, he's going to try and use one of the ancient swords to see if it reacts better or at least differently. Um, let's see what else. So there's more discussion about the runes. They're ancient Norse, written like Elvish, that kind of thing. And then game mechanic conversations about the chain hopper because um, we've been running RQ3, but we're modifying stuff with RQG because RQG is the new stuff, right? But armor is specifically different. The Runequest encumbrances are higher because they consider the entire limb being encased, whereas with RQG you're just talking about partial coverage, so you have lots of open space and that sort of thing. So there was some discussion. I pulled out some of my chain is not in RQG. It was in RQ2, and it's been discussed in various venues. I'm not sure exactly where that chain in Glorantha is specifically a dwarven um, material. Dwarves know how to make chain. Nobody else does. Dwarves know how to make black powder. Nobody else does. Dwarves know how to make guns and cannons. Nobody else does. That kind of thing, right? Dwarven magic, for lack of a better word. So, um, chain in RQ2 is 5 points. Chain in RQ3 is 7. So we kind of went to the middle and did 6. We used the encumbrance from RQ2 of 2 encumbrance and a -20 on his move quietly or sneak. But I looked back because I found session 26 or 46 where in it we actually say that the chain stopped 7 and the breastplate stopped 8. So I sent a note to the GM. Hey, this is what we found last time. This is what we're testing this time. We need to make a decision. Okay, so we spend a week doing that kind of stuff and relaxing and contemplation, making our check rolls. Okay, so we are now in Valen, which is the third month, the first week, day 3, and we head back to the, and we decide it's time to go back to the caves. There are no encounters, so that's day 4, getting back to the caves. Raymond does a quick spot check on the second cave entrance on the valley floor level where we are. Calls us over because it's just, you know, a cave thing, and we all come over and we investigate. This turns out to have been, we think, the ogre's cave, because there's lots of bones all strewn about. There are ogreish type tracks here. A fair amount of movement going on. Stuff has been strewn about, like somebody was casing the place or looking for something. There's a passage on the east. We go over there, and there's a pile of straw with some furs on. It's about ogre size. Figure this, you know, his bed kind of thing. Again, more signs of searching. So we all just continue searching as well. And Alexander does in fact find a scroll tube made out of bone. You know, being in the pile of bones could easily have been overlooked. So it took a special success to find that. So Raymond brings it over to Wes. Oh, Alexander gives it to Raymond. Raymond brings it over to Wes, and they look at it together. It is a channeling spell. We don't know what kind, or which version, or which spell, but it's in that ancient Norse stuff. But there is calligraphy and illumination on this scroll that has an oceanic or a sea motif. You know, the impression that is a Lorathian, ancient Lorathian spell. So Raymond rolls back up, sticks it in the tube, and puts it in his belt. Okay. We move up the valley wall to entrance F. That's the one that had the sign that says, "Please come in. We'll have you for dinner." I said, "That's the way we left. It's open. Well, it's not locked, is what we meant. It's not barred from the inside." So we open up and go in, and there's a big discussion because we have changed from an old owlbear to a new owlbear, or owlbear got updated. Apparently, it's a different actual site, because I'm going to have to change it to with a lot more capabilities, and it's really, really cool. We're very, very happy with that. But when the GM imported the map over, he had to actually move the map and then start taking off what he knew we had covered, and there was stuff there that he had not uncovered. Because there's discussion. Okay, we ran into the nose last time. There were the crossbows. Where did we get ambushed? Was it here or was it there? I don't remember. Stairs. So all that kind of discussion. There's a lot of discussion in the live play that is off topic about either owlbear or the capabilities. There's a lot of stuff about, you know, making circles and talking to people and condition rings and that kind of stuff. All really cool, but there's a lot of time where that's being discussed. Okay, so we do figure out exactly where we were from here and where the knolls and stuff were, and so we move through and get to where that had occurred. That room is now empty, so we go further east, and there's a storage room, again empty, but there are weapons racks there, and there are armor racks. There are places that look like barrels had been sitting there, you know, a circle of dirt in the ground kind of thing, or a circle that's not covered in dirt. Miscellaneous broken missiles, you know, arrows and crossbow bolts, that kind of thing laying around. You know, Runt does his little investigation kind of thing and says it looks like it had been rummaged or robbed fairly recently. Okay, so we continue east. No, we go back. We go back east. There's the stairs. We go up the stairs, and it dead ends in a T. To the east, it dead ends completely. We search nothing there. We go west, and there's a chamber, and there are tables on either side, and eventually we get to, because it's, you know, over 50 feet long, so the flashlight doesn't reach that far. Eventually it ends, and there's like a head table there with actual chairs. They've actually got, you know, cushion on it. Ancient, old, been used by goblins and stuff, so it's, or gnolls at this point, right? So it's not in the greatest condition. And at first there's an opening to the north on the west end, but it makes the chamber, it's got this little like alcove kind of thing there. There is about, you know, common cutlery, you know, wood and pottery, you know, cups and bowls and that kind of stuff. spoons, but there's nothing made of metal, nothing of bit of value. So it's been rummaged through. We discussed what may have been happening, or did the gnolls do this? Did the ogre do this? Did somebody else come in? That kind of stuff. Did the gnolls come in from somewhere else? We're all trying to figure stuff out, and we do some searching around. And Wes notices that there's a bit of floor and it's been brushed clean. That it is in fact glazed tile. Well, first he says tile, then it's in fact glazed. So he scooches out and more tile, and it turns out it's actually a mosaic. And so all of us start clearing the floor up, and this whole thing, this room, this entire room, the floor is glazed tile mosaic with an oceanic or ancient Gloranthian theme, right? As we get to this where the walls are, these are stone walls that have been put down on top of this tile. And we can tell that it's not the edge of the tile it's not the tiled rooms walls. These are walls put in afterwards. Like they tunneled in, found the floor, just cleared it out, and then built a stone walls and ceiling for extra support kind of stuff. Yeah, reinforced stonework. And, as we're discussing this, there are the western portions of everything we filled out in this cavern complex, this mining complex, right? The western portion pieces of it have been stone worked materials, whereas all of the rest of it has just been rough hewn, carved into the earth itself. So we go out and go to Cave J, which I believe is up higher. And as we go into Cave J, it is in fact worked stone again, and it goes off to the west. And we go and we run into two gnoll crossbowmen. So there's like a little room, a little hallway. Hallway does this kind of thing, right? So we come around the corner, flashing through. Runt moves up to investigate. Two crossbowmen shoot from across the room at Runt. Runt decides he's going to charge in, so that shooting into melee is not a good thing. And as he does that, he's encountering two other gnolls, one to the north and one to the south of the entrance, right? So as he runs by, they both try to attack. Wes goes to throw a sudden light on the crossbow gnolls, but he fumbles that roll. So we have a little discussion on, okay, what do we do for fumbled spells? Because there aren't really rules for criticals and specials, although we kind of say if you get a special, it doesn't cost power or magic points, mana. But for effects, that's something. Although for the shock bolt, I forgot especially, he did give me an impale on those. But I've been thinking at the end of the session, I was thinking, because we did a couple of we did a bunch of handful of power versus power rolls, which Wes did not make any of them. In fact, he fumbled one, which got us thinking, okay, can you fumble a power versus power roll? In which case, what would that mean, and how would that work and stuff? And it got me thinking about if you did a special success on a spell that required a power versus power, maybe that gave you a plus 20 or plus 30 to your power versus power roll. It was a special success gives you an extra capability on the power versus power. I'll discuss that with the GM, but that was something I was thinking about. But anyway, apparently Rollmaster has a spell fumble chart, so we roll on that. And Wes has a serious mental lapse and is stunned for a round. Run got hit in the right arm and he loses the use of that, so he drops his dagger, but he continues forward with the torch as a club to hit at the crossbow goblins, who are now changing weapons. Raymond moves up to engage one of the gnolls. Alexander stays back with his bow and is shooting at the other gnoll at the south side of the entrance. But he hits the wall, I think, a couple of times. And so, although Wes couldn't do that because he was stunned, I said, aim shot, aim shot, aim shot, shh, aim shot. So I starts doing aim shots. And the first one he got, but he did minimal damage, just 4 points, all got absorbed in the head. Eventually, Wes gets over that one of the gnolls after Wes threw magic at gnoll number 1. He tried to do that hold kind thing. The other crossbow gnoll took off east. So we figure he's going for reinforcements. Wes isn't sure if they're going to come from there or if they're going to somehow come from the outside and come around behind us. So once he gets off of his stun, he goes ahead and casts Sleep 7, which puts down 2 of the gnolls. So there's only 1 gnoll left up. And Alex says, kill him now, you've only got 2 rounds. Magical sleep for 2 rounds, then it's normal sleep after that. So Alexander Runt take out the 2 that they were fighting with that had gone to sleep. So there's a third one that's still up, number 4, I think it is. I don't have down here what happened, but I know we killed it. Oh, that's right. Alexander moved up, Raymond shifted around, and Runt came up from behind. They all attacked that gnoll, took him down. And we hear running footsteps. This time it's getting towards midnight. But people were more interested in the gnolls, so at least 4 gnolls come up from the west. We all kind of move into the room and take position. And 4 gnolls come through the east entrance. One turns and engages. It's Runt. Or was it Alexander? The other one turns and engages Raymond. And then there are 2 that are kind of stuck behind that we see. And that's where we ended the session. Whew. Happy gaming.